So sad, and that's why Gachagua was fighting for it, because the BBI document was going to ensure that resources are being taken en masse to the Mount Kenya zone of this country. You see, we have leaders who have been taking us for a ride for a very long time, making us believe that when one leader is okay, then all of us are okay. That is so sad. Raila Amolo Odinga has not been able to market the Luo products. We've seen him chewing Miraa, ensuring that Miraa, I remember during that time, Miraa was banned in Britain. We have our hopes embedded on one body politic, one persona, one intellectual mogul, one great man of Kisumu boys, an alumni called Babu Owino. And that is the man that we are going to move on with, regardless of whatever Kaluma Opondo says, that Babu Owino, I don't know, comes from whatever. We do not care. This man is an aboriginal of Luo land, and is a man who has got a political capital in Nairobi, a man who is an MP of Embakasi East. Being an MP of Embakasi East, you cannot be if you are not a person who is not likable. Because in Embakasi East, Luos are only a composition of merely 0.5%. The remaining ones are the Gikuyu, the Somali, the Kambas, and the rest. So Babu Owino can do with or without ODM, and we are going to support him. Luo liberation and emancipation is long overdue, because if you look into the Luo input in the Kenyan society today, right from the independence, we had Tom Mboya writing the Constitution of Kenya. We had it all. There was an initiation of trying to have an architectural design of our cities in this country, which were done by Tom Mboya. Now, if you look at it again, we have to look into the Luo development politically and also economically. But the bigger word is development. And I want to tell you how we've lost it politically. Look into the division of the districts in this country. When Jomo Kenyatta, the first president of this republic, was doing the boundary subdivision of these boundaries, there were districts and everything in Masi. And now he asked Oginga, how then do we divide the Luo Nyanza? And Oginga Dinga chose on having two districts only, the South Nyanza district and the Central Nyanza district. Only two districts, whereas Kenyatta had several districts. And as you know, these districts were the main units as to which developments were going to come. Employments were going to start from there. And Luos and Masi, who worked so hard, decided to sleep very early on the bed when now resources were being divided. At that time, districts were very much important. We saw the replica of this. The Lord God gave us this second opportunity. I remember when Kibaki was dishing out districts. From the year 2010, everywhere district. We asked Raila Amolo Odinga, I think Orengo asked that question. And the answer there was that districts do not bring development. We did not have even a single district from Mwai Kibaki. Several other areas had districts. At this time, we had Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga in government as the Prime Minister. And he chose not to bring a single district to Luo Nyanza. And these are administrative divisions which are used to trickle down resources, which are going to empower people, which are going to employ people, which are going to ensure that people are running on without the threats of poverty and any other thing, and ensuring that food basket was going to be assured. But what do we have today in the Luo Nyanza? We are fighting poverty alleviation, which is going on and on and on. Immediately after that, we had what was called the constituencies, the constituencies, the BBI. BBI was brought here. It was brought when Raila was having a good bromance by Uhuru Kenyatta. And BBI was a brainchild of what was called the handshake government. I was shocked how BBI was going to only give Luo Nyanza 2 constituencies and over 100 constituencies in Mount Kenya. Then I'm asking myself then, if you sit with your brother on the table, choosing to divide a cake, what do you go away with? I think from where I sit that Raila Amolo Odinga is not a good negotiator. He's not a good negotiator. How can you sit with a friend of yours? You're working and then you choose to take 2 home, having a number almost the same in your own constituency base. That was very wrong. I think these are some of the mistakes that has made Luo Nyanza to be in a situation of absurd poverty. Now, let us look in focus, because some people always tend to believe that Luo Nyanza always find themselves in opposition. I say Luo Nyanza is the most blessed block in the Republic of Kenya. Why? After every 5 years, we are in government. Because it is now in the public domain that Raila Amolo Odinga is no longer interested in winning the presidency. He's not interested in whichever way playing games to hail into the top seat. His interest is on getting a share of the government, which he normally gets more than a half. Today he got his own share and Gachagua is out. The other time, during Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, he got his own share and the current president, William Ruto, was seriously alienated. He was seriously thrown to the dogs and he was seriously put aside and shredded. Today, we are on a situation where we are asking ourselves, where did we lose it? Even in terms of winning the presidency, the greatest near that we ever came was through the Solomonic judgment by Gachagua, who told us in court that go ye and seek for re-election again, both Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga. But what did we choose to do? We chose to go for a handshake, rendering Maraga with his own wisdom now to be a childish. The entire judgment was like an academic exercise, which was not right at all. Now, again, if you look into what we have been able to manage, what we've been able to get from all these kind of, the nusu mukate, the handshake, and the everything that we've always found ourselves into, you are going to realize that it is very little to call. Today, as we speak, we've had a scenario where the president, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, came to Luo Nyanza. And the best that our leaders asked from the then government was the BBI. A BBI, a document, a brainchild of the handshake that was not going to develop Luo Nyanza in any way. So sad, and that's why Gachagua was fighting for it, because the BBI document was going to ensure that resources are being taken en masse to the Mount Kenya zone of this country. You see, we have leaders who have been taking us for a ride for a very long time, making us believe that when one leader is okay, then all of us are okay. That is so sad. Raila Amolo Odinga has not been able to market the Luo products. We've seen him chewing Miraa, ensuring that Miraa, I remember during that time, Miraa was banned in Britain. And Raila Amolo Odinga went all the way to Meru, chewing Miraa. He took a plane going to London to go and market Miraa. Coming back, I think he even petitioned the then President Uhuru Kenyatta to ensure that Miraa was bailed out using taxpayers' money of Kenya, tuning to 2 billion Kenya shillings. That is not Luoland. I am talking of Mount Kenya West, and I am talking of Meru County, to be precise. At that time, we had Sony Sugar on its knees, Mumias Sugar on its knees. And at that time, Mumias only needed 1.3 billion to be in full operation, surely. And you know what Mumias is. You know what sugar is. You know the importance of sugar and the greater importance of byproducts of sugar. And you know very well that the greatest sugar belt, the only sugar belt that we have, lies in the western part of Kenya. That was never done. It was never considered. Anyways, you know the byproduct of sugar itself. We get molasses from it. You saw the other time when Kidero, during his tenure as the MD of Mumias, they were even producing electricity from Mumias. Now, Mumias, a sugar company, only needed 1.3 billion Kenyan shillings to go back to its full operation. And here we had Mira, something that is illegal. Illegal because it was sounded illegal and declared illegal in the Parliament of Britain. We had our own leader going there, bromance with them, and in cahoots with them, and chewing Mira, and going back to Britain, and coming back, and sitting down with the president, and ensuring that the Mira farmers are bailed off using the taxpayers' money of 2 billion Kenyan shillings. What was the priority? What was the priority? Look at what is happening right now. We have now the tea. As we speak, we are now in what is called broad-based. Broad-based has ensured that issues of tea are catered for very well, and coffee in this republic. But there is a bill in parliament. Painfully, we have a bill in parliament. Seriously, we have a bill in parliament that auguringly is going to ensure that all the sugar companies in Kenya are privatized. To whose benefit? If you go to China today, you are going to find a milling machine for sugar is going at 200 million. We had Obado the other time, the governor of Migori, asking the then government, please, instead of privatizing, Owino, whatever, Sony Sugar Company, why then don't you give it back to Migori County government to be able to run it? And indeed, they can run it. Because a mailer for sugar goes for 200 million. And the Chinese people are going to come here, install it for free, come with their engineers, install it here for free. And this is going to ensure that we have our own people who are also employed en masse. Luo Nyanza, it is time we smell the coffee. Because if we look around, there is no leader in Luo Nyanza that can be given 20 years to be a performer. Look at Orengo. All these people are in their 80s and 70s. We only have our hopes embedded on one body politic, one persona, one intellectual mogul, one great man of Kisumu boys, an alumni called Babu Owino. And that is the man that we are going to move on with. Regardless of whatever Kaluma Opondo says, that Babu Owino, I don't know, comes from whatever, we do not care. This man is an aboriginal of Luoland and is a man who has got a political capital in Nairobi, a man who is an MP of Embakasi East. Being an MP of Embakasi East, you cannot be if you are not a person who is not likable. Because in Embakasi East, Luos are only a composition of merely 0.5%. The remaining ones are the Gikuyu, the Somali, the Kambas, and the rest. So Babu Owino can do with or without ODM, and we are going to support him. We cannot be in a situation or in a society that is conspiring to bring down its young leaders. It was done to Raphael Tuju, and Tuju is gone. We are not going to sit down as Gen Zs as we look onto our own, the one and the only Babu Owino who is fighting for our plight. Because this is Kenya and Kenya is Marwa. Thank you. And are victims of the circumstance. I feel for Luos. sometimes I get really worried. I get so sad because we keep on flip-flopping. We flip-flop. We side with whoever is a friend of our leader. Just yesterday here, there were claims and accusations that Ruto was the wrong person in Uhuru Kenyatta's regime. Today, we are claiming that he has so far become a saint. I think Luos have been conditioned, preconditioned, washed, brainwashed, and made to enslave their mental faculties to an extent that today they've got chains all over their brains. And this is not something that I think we should condone moving forward. And that is the reason as to why we have to liken the Luo's mentality to the level of poverty. Because it is a political system that moves on a personality cult. A personality cult that is not ready to ensure that people are emancipated. And that is the reason why the likes of Luos, who have always stood firm to ensure that we get an economic liberation, the likes of Oroho Jode, the likes of Raphael Tuju, the likes of Raymond Omolo, the likes of Babu Owino, and the rest have always been castigated. And this is the reason as to why you will see Luos dancing anyway, anyhow. Shockingly, if today Raila Amolo Odinga were to go and visit Gachagua back in his village, I think then that Luos will stand up in chants, singing and dancing, praising Rigathi Gachagua as a great son, not just of the Molima, but a great son of the Luo people. If they would even give him a Luo name. I think this is the greatest political hypocrisy. I would say that our people need redemption, if not prayers, because it is true that prayers cannot work. It is true that prayers cannot work in this country. And that's the reason why we had the best first lady in the name of Margaret Kenyatta. Yeah, the wife to Uhuru Kenyatta, who was doing the best, who brought for us Linda Mama, who brought for us Beyond Zero campaign. And today we have a first lady who is a prayer warrior. We are told by the husband that she turned water red or red water white or whatever happened. So I think our Luo brethren need to smell the coffee and wake up. But I don't blame them as such because they have been preconditioned to think that way. It is a situation where they think that once their leader gets it, they have it. Look at the level of unemployment we have in Luo Nyanza. No one, nobody, even Raila did not remind William Samoei Ruto that before you give our airports to Adani, even Kisumu International Airport here is going to be given to Adani. And even currently, there is nothing like agricultural produce from Kisumu and its environs that is leaving Kisumu going elsewhere in the name of agribusiness. That is not an opportunity for them. All we have are caucuses of political conspiracies about the young emerging heroes, leaders of tomorrow, like Babu Owino and the rest. I think we just have to change this paradigm shift once and for all. We don't have to move like a pendulum. We need to make our case stand for a principle, at least for once, because personalities will go, but institutions that we make and have will always stay. Ask yourself the reason as to why the entire Luo counties are bordering the Lake Victoria. But in none of the counties we have any serious agriculture taking place. Nothing. We are not even allowed to do any kind of irrigation. We suffer the most. If you go to Homa Bay, there is just pomp about politics and we do not even have tap water. in that county. It is so sad. It is something that really needs to be checked, and I think the Luo community is a center stage and a case study of how people can be enslaved, of how people can politically be put in an oblivion. Thank you. You see, you cannot decide to push aside an idea whose time has come. Because in whichever way you look at it, the young people have spoken, and the young people have said across the nation that they are, number one, tribeless. Number two, they do not care where you come from. The regionalism is not in them. And they have spotted some key leaders who are working together to ensure that they are really doing what is in for the vision of the people. And I think that Babu Owino has been very much smart. He's been very much categorical. And that is to the reason as to why you never saw Babu Owino participate in this kind of what we term the theater of the absurd in parliament. He was not there to impeach Rigathi Gachagua. I think Babu Owino can do better. Babu Owino can do better than being called by the groups of Mutise to go and kick out Rigathi Gachagua over baseless accusations. And I think that if we give Babu Owino an opportunity, because Babu Owino is standing on a hard rock. Babu Owino is not like Antonio Luoch, who is hailing from the Luo-dominated constituency in Nairobi. Babu Owino is in a multi-ethnic constituency where he is only elected on the basis of his development record. But he is appealing. He is appealing. And I think he has grown yonder. And before you know it, and I was saying that you have to be careful about this young man. Because this is the only man who has sent shockwaves to the entire East Africa. He has sent shockwaves to the mentor of William Samoei Ruto by the name Museveni. Because when Raila Odinga was having his launch for the Africa Union chairmanship bid, we had Museveni in this country. And Museveni, in his maiden speech, retorted by claiming Babu Owino is giving him sleepless nights. Because we do not want dictators in East Africa. So Babu Owino is a great man. He's a torchbearer of the plight of the young people. Those who want to emancipate not only the Luos, but all the people of color, the black people in this republic, the black people in Africa. And that's the reason as to why when Gaddafi Muammar was trying to convince and bring us in one body politic, he decided to bring one leader of all the students' councils across all universities in Africa. And I think Babu Owino got the number. He was the one representing the students of all the African people in the universities. And Babu Owino, from that point on, we knew that he was having an ambition that is beyond Embakasi. He has an ambition that is beyond Luo Nyanza. He has an ambition that is beyond taking our youth on the streets to go and throw stones. He has an ambition beyond Africa. And this is the doyen that we are going to vote for. He is the better cake. He is the one who we are going to have. Babu Owino is the best deal. Thank you.